The Motorola G Stylus 2025 is finally here. The G Stylus is known for having a stylus and of course some features that typically don't exist in other devices on the market right now, namely a headphone jack. Also, SD card support, like things we don't even expect anymore. But this device has that. To top that off, it also has some updated functionalities added to the stylus that is actually housed within this device. That's one of the main unique features that we have in here on the market at the price point that this device is coming here. Powered by the Snapdragon 6 Gen 3 processor, giving us all these experiences, fast charging, large battery, and of course, a 50 megapixel primary sensor and a 32 megapixel front-facing camera that give us the ability of shooting in 4K. This is TK and this is the Moto G Stylus 2025 edition. Let's check out all of the new features that we have in here. Like and subscribe and make sure you hit that bell icon so you're always notified to whenever we have new videos for you on the channel. The packaging overall is pretty straightforward. This is the Moto G Stylus 2025 edition. There's two variants or two colors of that. It is the plastic-free packaging, so there is no plastic in here, totally recyclable. Also means we don't have a charger. Pretty much in the box you get the device, which is pretty much expected, a quick starting guide, and a USB-C cable to be able to charge up our device. The two options that we have in here are the Pantone Gibraltar C and of course the Pantone Surf the Web. Those are the two color options. And one thing I want to bring your attention to is that basically that vegan leather that we have in here positioned on the entire back, making it feel a lot more premium than we normally get. It does have basically flat sides, as you can see here. The device itself has flat sides, slight curved on the corner here, but basically for the most part, just made so that it doesn't actually have any sharp edges. Beautiful 6.7-inch POLED display that runs at 120 Hertz. It is slightly higher than HD. They're kind of considering it at 1220p, so it's higher than the 1080, but not exactly 1440. So better resolution, high refresh rate. As I mentioned to you guys, this is the Moto G Stylus 2025 edition. The storage capacity that I have here is a 256 model, although there is a 128 version of this device. RAM configuration is 8 gigabytes of RAM with the ability of using the RAM boost functionality to be able to go all the way up to an additional 16 gigs, or you can keep it in the AI mode, which allows the system to manage the amount of RAM. As you notice right there, it's actually allocated about 12 gigs of RAM, 8 from the main basically RAM, and of course 4 from the internal storage. Next thing we have here is the primary sensor is the LYT700C camera sensor with OIS. It is also, there's an additional 13 megapixel camera sensor on the back. That's going to be the secondary sensor, ultra wide. Front-facing camera that we have at the top here is a 32 megapixel camera. And as I mentioned to you guys, the display resolution is 2512 by 1220. Slightly higher than 1080, but again, giving us that experience that we always expect from Motorola. Beautiful, large display, high refresh rate, and of course, stereo speakers, because this is pretty much across the board. Motorola includes stereo speakers now with all other devices. On the right side, we have a power button, volume rocker, one of the microphones. On the top, an additional microphone positioned here. As you notice, the color permeates throughout the entire device. The SIM tray is on the left side. Again, one SIM card, one eSIM, and of course SD card support, which is definitely appreciated. The camera stack that we have in here, primarily just basically, again, two camera stacks, well, two cameras. The blue Motorola logo here, or the Moto logo, is positioned very, very nicely. If we look at the bottom, we notice that there's an additional function here that we typically don't see. Yes, that is a headphone jack, and of course an additional microphone, USB-C for data and charging. And the battery that we have here is a 5000 milliampere battery supported with a 68 watt turbo power. Unfortunately, no, not included, but if you have it, it's going to charge quite quickly, as well as the fact that we also now support 15 watt wireless charging. So very nice to see it on this device. Bottom firing speaker, and of course the pen. This is why it's called the G Stylus. Now this stylus does not have any power. It does have the clicky option if you want to be able to have that. It does come with a secondary menu in here to do quick. Basically, there's the Moto Note, screenshot, as well as the functionality of sketching to image and handwriting calculator, which I really love. But let's say I want to be able to crop that. Let's go ahead and do some freeform crop. I'll take a screenshot, come back here, and then we're going to go ahead and grab it, and that becomes our screenshot. Very nice and very simple. The Moto Note is pretty straightforward. You can customize things. You guys saw that at the beginning. If you are using the phone, let's go ahead and turn it off. I'll go ahead and turn off the display. And the stylus is inside of, or housed within the phone. Even if the phone is off, when you remove the stylus, it jumps straight into the Moto Note application and you can just start typing. One thing I will mention, it does have some sensitivity as far as pressure sensitivity. So we're going to just say here, TK was here. And you can see that it's able to recognize a certain level of pressure sensitivity on the display, which makes it a little bit functional as well. Now, fingerprint sensor positioned in the display. We do have also a nice little functionality called sketch to image. Now, I've done a few of these images, and I've actually done a couple of them just because I wanted to save some time in the video. But short answer, you can basically build like anything that you want and basically make an image out of it. And then I'm going to just say sun here, and I'm going to just say generate. Straightforward, pretty great. I'm going to go ahead and jump on Wi-Fi just to kind of give us the best experience and as fast as we can. It'll generate an image, as you see right there, and it'll give us a few variations of those that you're able to save. Actually, this one kind of looks pretty unique. I'll go ahead and save that guy, and it'll save it directly in my gallery. Now, when it comes down to the AI functionalities and what we're able to do, we are utilizing the Google Photos application, which means if we jump in and you have the functionality, you can go into edit, and then you can jump in there, and then once you have that, you can jump into the AI functionality. You do need to back up the image, of course. There are some AI functionalities built in directly into the camera and some of the capabilities that we have in here. Now, video capabilities on the front facing and the main sensor on the back are going to be capped at 4K 30 frames per second. We are able to support 60 frame on full HD. So if I switch over on the front facing camera, pretty much the same experience, 4K 30 or 1080p 30. We do have an ultra wide as well as a macro lens. The macro does utilize the ultra wide sensor, gives us the ability of shooting some good ultra wide or at least macro shots. Of course, we have a few different options in here: slow motion, video, photo, portrait, pro, and more. Now, as you see there, the experience is going to be much better on the main sensor on the back. We do have that OIS built in. So if you're going to be using that, I feel like it's the primary sensor on the back, the 50 megapixel sensor, is going to be the best performer. We're going to go ahead and do a quick test of the audio performance on the stereo speakers that we have in here. We do have Dolby Atmos, so we'll go ahead and just go 100%. Again, favorite song, Alex Squindo, Jumbo by NCS Release.
Jack it up.
Definitely sounds pretty loud, that it can actually able to get pretty loud as far as the audio performance. Not necessarily the highest quality audio. I feel like that's going to be actually housed or provided to us by the headphone jack. This device supports a headphone jack. Your best audio experience is always going to be there. Even if it is going to be basically using standard headphones, you're going to get a better performance from than the speakers. The speakers are going to be great for what we need them to do, but one thing to keep in mind is that one of them is facing sideways and the other one is facing us directly. It is higher on the bottom firing speaker, so that's something to keep in mind. Now, when it comes down to the gaming experience, one thing to mention again, we are looking at 8 gigs of RAM with the Snapdragon 6 Gen 3. So it's going to be more of a mid-ranger type of solution as far as gaming and what we should expect here. We do have a nice game launcher here that we're able to customize the different profiles, balanced, battery saver, and so on. Application functionality, battery, we can also see the frame rate, the RAM, and the core temperature of the actual device. You can block notification, basically turn on acoustic lights, Wi-Fi, all the different functionalities, screen record, screen grab, sharing, and of course, just turn it off and put it on the side. It looks and it works very nicely. The best gaming experience that we're able to expect here on Call of Duty Mobile, although it's rated to say maxed as far as the actual maximum frame rate, it is capped at 60 frames per second. So 60 frames per second on this is going to be the best resolution, the best frame rate that we're able to get on Call of Duty Mobile. And from what you're seeing with the sample that we're looking at as a gaming experience, I was playing a quick game of Cranked on multiplayer. Honestly, there's no question. I mean, it runs really good. It's a smooth 60 frames per second. There's no issues, no stuttering. The best audio is going to be from the headphone jack. And of course, the best experience is going to be based on what you want to get out of this device. A 5,000 milliamp hour battery with stylus support and AI functionalities from Motorola that are not going to disappoint. Now, I know a lot of us are obviously going to draw a quick comparison between this device and of course the Galaxy S25 Ultra. The S25 Ultra is the other main device on the market right now that does come in with a stylus and also, of course, has a housing for the stylus directly within the actual device. The G Stylus here is, for the most part, intended to be a more budget-friendly version of this. It comes in at a much, much lower price point. The main camera that we have in here, the 50 megapixel, is going to be the best performer, as you're seeing with some of those images in there and as we saw with the video. Power-wise, honestly, a 5,000 milliamp hour battery combined with the Snapdragon 6 Gen 3 means long battery life. Moto's UI is so simple and so I'm going to say basically under bloated, because some of the other options that we have on the market typically slow down when they're running something like this. But with the 6 Gen 3 and 8 gigs of RAM, and again with RAM boost, you're going to get a very smooth experience on this device. The UI is super smooth, super fluid. Applications launch very nicely. Again, keep in mind, it is a 6 Gen 3, and I think that's one of the reasons why we don't have 4K 60 frames per second, but we do have 4K 30 on the front and on the back. Again, Moto's really tailoring the experience to give you the best that they can at the price point. Headphone jack, SD card, large 6.7-inch display at 120 hertz, 5,000 milliamp hour, wireless charging, 68 watt, basically wire charging. I mean, if you think about the fact of all of those things, The price that they're asking for is crazy for the fact that this is definitely a great bang for the buck type of solution. And if you love having a stylus, this is one of the only other options that will be more affordable than what the Samsung Galaxy S25 Ultra or any of the Ultra side devices can support. And it actually has the housing of the actual stylus in there. Screen off note, the ability of using AIs, you can sketch the image, the ability of using, again, some of the editing options if you want to go in there, obviously circle to search, Gemini, all this stuff. There's no question, Google Play Store. And I love the fact that they're using that nice vegan leather option on the back right out of the box. Makes it feel so much more premium. So with that being said, I do want to say thank you to Motorola for allowing me to check out the Moto G Stylus 2025. I hope this video helped you make a decision if this device is the right device for you. And of course, at the end of the day, like and subscribe, hit that bell icon. And of course, thank you very much for the support. I will see you in the next video. Bye-bye for now.